All right, this is the 2018 Spring Performance Final Review. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go over this real quick. So hopefully after this video, you'll have all your questions answered. So here we go. Question number 1. Kathy is looking for a job as bookkeeper. She classified at, or one classified ad, listed job. Okay. So what is just a higher paying job? Well, the clothing store ad, we have to $850. Now the stereo store has 45,600. So what we have to do is we've got to convert both of these. Either this has got to be converted to a week, or this has got to be converted to a year. I'm just going to go ahead and convert this to actually, question number 2 says weekly salary. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the 45,600 and divide it by 52. So when I do that, I'm just rounding to the nearest whole dollar. This is $877. So which is a higher paying job? That would be the stereo store. And what is the difference? Well, 877 minus 850, you have a difference of 27. The biggest takeaway here is making sure that you can convert weekly to yearly pay. So make sure you can do that. All right. John puts he put 6,000 in savings account, in a savings account that earns 6% simple interest. Remember that this is the simple interest formula. All right. So here we go. It'll be 6,000 parenthesis 0.06 close parenthesis times 10. So when I do the math, I get $3,600. So I get $3,600. Now remember what I solved for. This formula I used gave me the interest, but the question is asking what is the balance. So I started with 6,000. I earned 3,600. So I'm going to add the two together. I get $9,600. How much interest does $20,000 earned if put in an account that compounds continuously? All right, continuously is this guy. So whenever you see the word continuously, there you go. So continuously, I started with $20,000 E 0.05 times 6. That's our parenthesis 6. Now when I get the answer, this is how much money is in the account. That's what B stands for. So my answer is $26,997.18. Question number 5. Dave puts $1,000 in an account that compounds quarterly with a rate of 7.5%. What is his balance after 7 years? All right, so whenever it says the word quarterly, that's going to be the very big formula, which is this guy right here. All right, so it's going to be 1,000 is the principal, parenthesis, 1 plus 0.075 over, now quarterly, N would be 4, close parenthesis, 4 times 7. All right, so in the formula, remember what you're doing, and that is you're starting with this first, then you're adding 1, then you're raising it to the power, and then you're timesing it by 1,000. And when you do all that, you get $1,682.26, because the formula calls for solving for B, which is the balance, and they're asking you what is the balance. So there's no adding or subtracting after you finish all that. All right, Harry is buying 3 shirts for $3.99 and 2 pairs of pants for $25 each. The sales tax rate is 5%. What is the total selling price? So I'm going to take 3, I'm going to times it by $19.99 to get an answer. I'm going to take 2, multiply it by $25 to get an answer. Now when I take all of this and add it together, so that'll be a grand total of of 109.97, and I'm going to times that by 0.05, and I'm going to get an answer. And when I get the answer, that is my tax, and I'm just going to take my tax and add it back to the subtotal, which is 109.97, to get my answer. Amy's interested in an electric car that's base price of this. Okay, options that. All right, and a dock fee. All right, so what is the total purchase price of the car? So I'm going to take the original price, which was $27,000, $895. I have to add the extras, which is $6,174.95. I'm going to add all that together. And then when I do, I'm going to times that by 7%. Now, when I do that, I get the tax. All right, so when I get the tax, I'm going to add it back to the price of the car. And then I'm going to tack on at the very tail end my dock fee. Because remember, the dock fee does not get tacked on or does not get added on and then multiplied by a tax. It's all at the tail end. And my answer is $36,929.85. All right. Tommy has a 100, 350 car insurance and 40,000 PIP. So let me zoom to where we can see a little more of this. All right. So 100, remember guys, 100 stands for how much for one person the insurance will pay. So that's $100. So for the cost of A is $145,000, the insurance is going to pay the first $100,000 of that, which means Tommy will pay the difference of $45,000. Now remember, this represents how much the insurance is paid. Now my magic number is $300,000 because if you remember, the second number in the series represents how much money they'll pay in total. So this will be $100,000 that they've paid so far. Now B only needs $35,000 worth of medical treatment, so the insurance will pay all that, which means the insurance is paid up to this point $135,000. Now for the next person, C needs $120,000. Well, again, insurance is going to pay the first $100,000. Tommy pays the rest, so that's $235,000. Now remember that insurance cannot go over $300,000. So if you do the math, $235,000, all that's left is $65,000. Meaning, if the insurance would have paid all $75,000, then they would be at $310,000, which that cannot be the case. So we have got to say, nope, insurance cannot pay all $75,000. But what they can do is pay $65,000, which means Tommy would have to pay the additional $10,000. So that would put the insurance at $300,000. Now, Tommy is the driver. Notice that there's a little star here that tells you Tommy's separate. This is 40,000 PIP. This is 40 additional thousand that is insurance thrown towards the driver. Now, Tommy only needs 17,000, so the insurance will pay 17,000, which means Tommy pays for nothing. All right. So now let's go ahead and total everything up. This will be 317,000 for everybody. For Tommy, it looks like it's going to be 75,000. All right, so let's see if we can do a double view here. I believe we can. All right. So here, let's answer some questions. So how much will the insurance pay for everybody? Well, that's $317,000. How much will Tommy have to pay for all the medical costs of everybody? Well, that's $75,000. Just reading it off the chart. Now, here we go. How much will the insurance pay for all the property damage? Well, let's read. All right, so let's kind of clean this up a little bit. Now, it says that the accident caused a total of $55,000, which Tommy's car is 10. So, all right, let's see if I can draw this out to help you visualize it here. So, $55,000 is how much the damage was. Now, I'm going to separate that out between Tommy's vehicle, which is 10,000, and then everything else, 45,000. Now, remember, Tommy's vehicle, Tommy, I think it was Tommy, I totally forgot. Yep, Tommy. This is property, okay, because that's everybody else's stuff. Look up at the last number in the series, which is 50. This is how much the insurance will pay, up to 50,000. So there was only 45,000, so that means the insurance will pay all of it, which means Tommy pays for nothing. Now, there is a $1,000 deductible. Let me clean this up a little bit more so you can kind of see. There's a $1,000 deductible, which means that's how much Tommy has to pay first for his car. So Tommy will pay the first $1,000. This will be Tommy's responsibility, which means there's $9,000 left for the insurance company. So answer the question, how much will Tommy have to pay? $1,000, the deductible, and that's it, which means the insurance pays the rest. There we go. All right, the monthly mortgage payment. All right, so John bought a 2010 Nissan Altima for $16,200. So it is a 5-year, 10% car loan. So it's going to be $16,200. I wrote that way too low. There we go. $16,200. And that's going to be the R, which is 10%, 0.10 over 12, close parenthesis, 1 plus, again, 0.10 over 12, close parenthesis, and that's going to be 12 times 5, all over 1 plus 0.10 over 12, close parenthesis, 12 times 5 minus 1. Now remember, you cannot do this all one line of your calculator. So what you're going to do is do this first, then add 1, then raise it to the power, and then times it by the rest of the numerator. So when you do that, you get a numerator of 221, rounding to 3 decimals is 1. Actually, not even rounding, just putting 3 decimals down. Now, the denominator, you kind of do the same way. 0.10 over 12 plus 1, raise it to the power, and subtract 1. So when you do that, you're going to get an answer of 0.645. So you divide the numerator and denominator, and you get an answer to the nearest dollar, $344. Now the question is, after 36 monthly payments, how much has John paid for the car? Well, 344. I think that's a typo. Let's see. That was 5 years. Oh, my fault. That should be 60. Sorry. Times that by 60. So 344 times 60 is $20,640. Now the car costs $16,200. So minus 16,200. So anything above 6,600. 16,200, sorry, $4,440. There you go. That's it. Next question. All right, Melissa has a credit with BCF Credit Company. She did not pay off her credit card bill in full. APR is 15%. All right, so I'm going to take 10, multiply it by 1,050.02 to get a number. 18, I'm going to multiply it by 362. Get a number, and then lastly 3 times this to get a number. I'm writing all over this, so and then I'm going to take all these numbers added together and divide it by, I wrote too much on that, I don't know. Oh, I'm going to divide it by 31 because all these numbers equal 31. So when I do that, my answer is going to be, and I'm going to speed up a little bit just so we're not here all day. I got $312 and rounding this to 47 cents. Now it says find the finance charge. So the APR is 15%. So I'm going to write this down here. I have to multiply by the MPR, which means I have to divide it by 12. So 15 divided by 12. So I get a final answer, a finance charge. Nope, I messed up on that. All right, so I'm sorry, let me do this again. The monthly is 1.25%, which means when I multiply, I got to change the decimal. That's what I forgot to do. So my finance charge will be $3.90. We'll just round to 1 cent. Now the credit card summary. That is what I'm starting with. Minus, plus, nope. Plus equals the new balance, and I am not doing the minimum payment, so that's going to look like 636.01 minus X plus 795.45 plus 15 plus 12.53, running out of room, equals $1,389.90. Just ran out of room there. So I'm just solving for X basic algebra. Now I'll be in the room with you, so if you need help, I'll be happy to help you. All right, so find the EST, earliest start time. So A is and B is attached to start. C will have an EST of 3 because remember it's always the longest number. D will have an EST of 3. Look at E. C can get there in 7 minutes. D can get there in 5 minutes, so obviously it's going to be 7. F will be 11, and the final would be 16. So A is 0, B is 0, C is 3, D is 3, E is 7, F is 11, and the minimum project time is 16. Now, if I go ahead and highlight, A and B became 0 through start. C became 3 through, I'm all over the place. Let me do this again. So B became 0 through start. C became 3 through B. D became 3 through B. E, F, G. All right, so it's going to be start, B, C, E, F, final. There we go. All right, does this have a Hamiltonian circuit? Meaning, can I connect the dots and get back to my starting point? I believe I can. Let's see. Maybe I can't. Let's see. I can. All right, so remember, guess and check. Boom, there we go. I was able to get back to my starting point. Now, can I create a Hamiltonian path? Let's see. That means if I start somewhere, I cannot end at the same spot. So let's see. I'm trying to do this all on, let's see, maybe, nope, messed up. Oh, I think I just figured out where it's going to be now. So I'm just going to start with A. A there. There's the bell. We're just going to keep rolling. Does it have an Euler circuit? Does it have an Euler path? Remember, Euler circuit means you have to do everything and get back to the starting point. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just do the degrees because the degree always has to be odd. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's an odd one. So, nope, already know that's not going to work. But let me just keep going for the path. So, E has a degree of 3. D has a degree of 4. B has a degree of 2. H has a degree of 4. F has a degree of 2. Look at that, exactly 2 odds. So the path, yep, it'll have one. So let's do one real quick. So we're going to start with, I don't know, let's start with E. E to G to C to A to D, back to E. I can do that. To H to D to B to F to H, all the way back to G. There we go. There's my path. Everything was used. All right, next, creating a tree diagram. And so, creating a tree diagram. All right, so this is going to be starting with A. I can go to B, D, or C. Okay, I can go to D or C, C or D, and then I always have to go back to my starting point. Here, B to C. Now yours may not be exactly like mine because remember, depending on where you put each letter is dependent on how yours will look. And then this will be B to D, D to B, and then A to A. I'm going to pause the video so I can put the rest of the numbers on here. Okay, so that's what everything looks like, and I know I'm right because notice that all these numbers are duplicated, and that's what we want. That's a self-check. So question number 20, what's the weight of the shortest circuit? That was 97. Let's go ahead and do 22. If you were driving a car that had fuel consumption of 20 miles per gallon, how much would the longest circuit? Well, the longest circuit is 141. I'm going to divide that by 20, and we'll get a decimal. So when I do that, I get 7.05. That's how much gas I need. I'm going to times that by 215. And so when I do that, I'm going to get a decimal again. I'm going to round to the nearest cent, $15.16. Now, what is the weight of the nearest neighbor? Now, remember, the nearest neighbor and the shortest circuit, they're not always the same, so don't think they are. So starting with vertex A, I don't know what that was. It's a crayon. We want a highlighter. So starting with vertex A, here we go. The nearest neighbor, let's see, C is 42, 35. Okay, B is the closest neighbor. I'm sitting on B. The closest neighbor to B is C. From C, I'm going to D, and then lastly from D, I'm going back to A. So let me do this math real quick. So that would be 50 plus 35. I think it's 97. So I'm going to do that 50 plus 35 plus 12 again. Yep, that's 97. Hey, it worked out. So the nearest neighbor and the shortest path is exactly the same. There we go. All right, so now using the breadth first. Let me go back to normal so you can see the breadth first. All right, we're starting with 0. Anything touching 0 will become a 1. Remember, you're creating a tree here, so that means everything's going to be connected with no cycles. So there, and there. Those are all my 1s. Anything that is touching a 1 becomes a 2. Let's see, that becomes a 2, that becomes a 2, that becomes a 2, there's going to be a lot of 2s in this question. Now remember that as you're doing all this, the way that you connect your 1s and 2s might be a little different than the way I am. Just make sure you don't create a cycle. So there, 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 there. Those are all my 2s. So anything touching a 2 will become a 3. I think there was really no other way you could have drawn that. So I think my graph and your graph should be the same right now. Let's see, that'll be a 3, that'll be a 2. Looks like, oh, I'm sorry, I said 2, I meant 3. Sorry, 3. That's a 3. That's a 3, and that's a 3. Oh, it looks like we could have a potential cycle, so we got to make sure we're clear on that. All right, so this 3 right here was connected this way. It could be connected that way, but obviously not both, or you'd create a cycle. So that's a no-no. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to connect that way this way. You could have done this way too, but I don't want to create a cycle, so I'm not going to. So this, that's a 2, that's a 3, that 2, there we go. I don't know why that's a 3. That should not have been a 3. My fault. You're probably screaming at this screen right now. Sorry. All right, so that'll be a 4. That'll be a 4. That'll be a 4. All right. So let's see. That 4, I'm just going to connect that way. Yes, you could have done it that way, but just not both. Cycle. Don't do that. That can be a 4. There we go. So 4 ways or 4 expansions. Now, lastly, and that is Kruskal's method. Okay, using Kruskal's method, starting with the smallest edge. I believe that is 8. After 8, 9. 9. After 9 would be 10. Oh, it's not connected. It will be. Don't freak out. 11. Oh, there's the bell again, but we're going to keep rolling. 12. Oh, can be 13 because that's a cycle, so we're not going to do that. So 14. Oh, can't be that 14. That's another cycle. Can't do that. All right, so there's 14. Can't be that 13. We already talked about that. Maybe we didn't. 14. I'm trying to get this video done. That's why. And then number 15. And so when you add everything up, it ends up being 88. So that's the weight of the tree. And that concludes we'll write this again, 88. Performance final review. Thank you for watching. We got